Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to this channel's first accent quickie. I'm your host, Kelli Ruttle, an actor and speech coach currently living in New York City. Today's accent, Standard British. Yes, in this video we're going to be spending about 5 minutes or so with the Standard British accent. An accent in 5 minutes? That's crazy talk. Well, yes, in a way it is. You see, in the Accent Quickie video series, what we do is we go over the top 3 or 4 phonetic changes that make a dialect distinguishable from others and how you can make those changes happen. Who might find an Accent Quickie useful? Well, you might be an actor who has a fast turnaround time on an audition. If you've never done this accent before, these changes will show the casting director, yes, I can learn this accent, and when you call me back, it will be even better. Or perhaps you're thinking of studying Standard British to expand your skill set. This video will give you a taste of the dialect so that you can know whether or not you want to explore further coaching. Or maybe you just want to feel more royal. Who knows? Whatever your reason for being here. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's get started. Before I begin with the phonetic changes, let me just say a quick word on what people mean when they say Standard British accent. They're talking about an English accent that is found more specifically in the southern or southeastern parts of the country. And there are varying degrees as to what the dialect as a whole might sound like. We'll touch on that concept at the end of the video, but for now, important British sound number 1, the ask vowel. This change involves words where Standard Americans would pronounce with the a vowel, like class or rather, becoming a more slightly narrow sound, ah. From a, bring the corners of the mouth in and drop the jaw slightly. So class becomes class. Rather becomes rather. You may also notice that doing this change gets rid of some of the nasality. Class, class. Rather, rather. Shall we try some examples? Shall we try some examples? Ask, answer, after, pass, basket, glance. I shan't dance. I'd rather eat raspberries. Note, this change does not occur every time a Standard American would say ah. For example, could I please have half a grapefruit? Can you or can't you? What the fuck? There's no hard rule as to when or when not to make this substitution. It just comes from listening to the dialect more and more, or using the right resources. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Speak with Distinction by Edith Skinner. In this book, she goes through every single sound of the International Phonetic Alphabet, and for this vowel sound, she gives you the ask list. So, when in doubt, you can order this book on Amazon and refer to it. Important British sound number 2, the law vowel. Americans tend to make this sound a bit wider, as in law, talk, caution. But in Standard British, it's much more narrow and very tight. So again, you're going to bring the corners of the mouth in and drop the jaw, but more than you did the last time. So law, talk, and caution become law, talk, caution. Shall we try some more examples? Cheesy. Awful, always, tawdry, naughty, caution. Paul saw leaves fall in the autumn. All the lawyers who taught were awesome. Fun, right? Lots of muscle work on that one. Okay, moving on. Important Standard British sound number 3, the Foster vowel. This change is a bit more subtle, but very important for resonance and tone. That ah sound that we covered before that we changed to law, Standard Americans use it on a couple different places. This time they use it on words like on, honest, cobbler, right? Well, Standard British people, again, they make it more narrow. This time, all you're going to do, you're going to leave the jaw where it is and bring the corners of the mouth in ever so slightly. So ah becomes ah. Ah, ah. And when in doubt, you can always just say foster. So on, honest, and cobbler become on, honest, cobbler. Let's try a back and forth phrase. Foster's modern model, ah, 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 in Standard American, becomes Foster's modern model. Again, subtle, but still important. And because we have a little bit of time left, let's cover one more bonus sound. Standard British is a non-rhotic dialect. What does non-rhotic mean? It does not mean that they never pronounce their R's. What it means is that they only pronounce their R's in very specific places. First, they'll pronounce an R before a vowel sound, as in real or bread. They will pronounce the R between two vowel sounds, as in Harry. And they will pronounce the R if it comes at the end of a word and the following word begins with a vowel sound. For example, here and rather by themselves would become here, rather. But if those words come in phrases where the next word begins with a vowel sound, the R's will get pronounced. Here it is. He's rather a nuisance. See how that works? Congratulations! You have laid your Standard British foundation. Those are the phonetic changes we're going to cover today. And to touch back on what I mentioned at the beginning of the video as far as this accent having varying degrees, I want you to think about the accents of Queen Elizabeth II and Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe. Now, both speak a form of Standard British, but the Queen speaks a more RP, or received pronunciation version of the dialect, whereas Daniel Radcliffe's accent is a bit more contemporary and slightly more relaxed. So, when you're putting on a Standard British accent for a character, you're going to want to think about things like not only where is my character from, but what is their class level? What period of time do they live in? Because those things can definitely have an effect on some of these sounds. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new. And I hope to see you again. Take care out there and break a leg.